hold up a tin toy. Hi,
Okay.
we're live. Tin toys.
Good morning.
We
Okay,
may or
is-
may not have tin toys available at the moment.
Well, when you say tin toys, would you like them to be displayed and running about or whirling?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think that maybe we could get
You
right
could get
into the
one of the minor tin
the
toys.
tempeh of the matter.
The tempeh. So sure. Okay. There you go.
See,
No, it doesn't work.
No,
It's
you have
not-
to kind of
it's
hold it
not a
up.
camera.
No,
There.
don't do that.
Okay.
No.
It'd be kind of like
Hello.
like the boobs in tin toys.
Yeah, I hate it when you do that. I hate it.
Oh dear. Okay, I'll just hold it like this. He's holding the tin toy.
Oh,
We are
and
amused.
hello.
Look how amusing that tin toy is. Can you imagine if you were actually rolled about it at a proportionate speed?
It would be bad.
Yeah, your necks would come right off. sad. The great whirling.
Good morning to all. We certainly hope that you are also having a fine morning.
Shall we name the show?
Do it. You want to start this thing?
Yes, this is now Bridge to a Better World. I'm Teresa Mitchell. That's Audie Haynes.
Good morning.
And we have some things to talk about. Let's see, I have things not in the usual order here. Here we go. Some headlines. The destruction of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline between Russia and Germany was a terror attack carried out by the U.S. Navy in a mission planned before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, according to a report by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh. And he published that Wednesday. And I'm reading from text produced by Andrei Damon on World Socialist, WSWS.org. World site, the Trotskyists. And they write, on September 26th, a series of explosions destroyed the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines, which shipped natural gas from Russia to Germany. These are really super huge pipelines. And Russia was really counting on them for cash. While no one has publicly admitted responsibility, U.S. officials have expressed satisfaction at the pipeline's destruction. And again, speaking for myself, I seem to recall a whole lot of, gosh, we don't know who did that. Maybe the Russians did it kind of talk coming from the corporate media, who probably knew better at some level.
Really made no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, at the face of it, that was just one of the less effective.
Yeah.
Line
Yeah. Look, the Russians have impoverished themselves just to get back at us.
Right. Didn't work.
Seymour Hersh is one of the world's leading investigative journalists who exposed the My Lai massacre during the Vietnam War. He also contributed to revealing the Watergate scandal and prisoner abuse at Abu Ghraib. And then they hedge on that. But skipping ahead, Hersh alleges that last June, the Navy divers operating under the cover of a widely publicized midsummer NATO exercise known as Baltops 22 planted the remotely triggered explosives that 3 months later destroyed 3 of the 4 Nord Stream pipelines, according to a source with direct knowledge of the operational planning. The terrorist attack on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines destroyed civilian infrastructure valued at over $20 billion. It resulted in the single largest spill of methane gas in human history, releasing the equivalent of 14.6 million tons of CO2 with a major climate impact. The attack contributed to a spike in energy prices throughout Europe and the entire world.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, indeed. And by the way, the fact that government operatives can plant explosives and set them off months later is something that's been alleged before.
It is.
Yes. I'll just leave that hanging.
Too. And now we wander on.
Yes. Okay, I'm thinking of 9/11.
I wander on.
All right.
We wander.
We shall wander. Eventually. With housing costs rising faster than workers' wages, those renting apartments or homes are paying on the average 30% of their income for rent, an all-time high. Mortgage rates have doubled in the past year. Underneath these figures is the boss's callous disregard toward the degrading living conditions confronting millions of workers. That is from the Militant, the Socialist Workers' Party, not the Trots, and it's really fun to put those both into a jar and shake it. But they're right, and I'll continue. This is an article by Brian Williams in The Militant. On top of high rents and mortgages, inflation is eating away at the funds working class families have available for food, transportation, and health care. Increasing numbers of workers are working overtime or taking on another job to make ends meet. Those unable to afford a place to live are moving back in with their parents or friends, or renting cheaper apartments that are often smaller and in worse shape. One consequence is the decline in birth rates as more young workers struggle to start families. In some areas, the portion workers pay from their wages for rent is much higher, over 68% in New York City, 42% in Miami, and it ain't good here in Portland. A decade ago, the average household spent about 26% of its income on rent. I find that, how can it be accurate? It seems like it was pretty bad. I guess it's even worse now. Even worse. The theme of 2023, even worse.
No. We're at the very beginning of the year. I refuse to have that as a theme. And perhaps very beginning, we're a 12th down. Not even worse. That's not, no.
Okay, a machine translation from El País. I wanted a European source on the Ukraine war. So they write, just a few hours after the end of the European tour of the Ukrainian president, the alarms have sounded again throughout the territory of Ukraine in anticipation of a new Russian attack. The governor of Kyiv province, Sergei Popko, warned there is a great threat of missile attack, and he said, I insist again, do not ignore the alarms. Zelensky's diplomatic offensive, which called for long-range weapons and combat aircraft in Brussels, in the European Parliament, and before the leaders of the 27, coincided on Thursday with a maximum offensive by the troops, the Russian forces in eastern province of Lugansk, according to its governor, Sergei Gaidai. Attacks have also increased in Zaporizhia and Dnipropetrovsk, say that 3 times quickly, Dnipropetrovsk, in the south of the country, according to the authorities, who speak of the largest Russian offensive in the area since the beginning of the war. And speaking for myself, I think we're talking about 200,000 or maybe 250,000 troops. And word is that they haven't had sufficient time for training, that they simply cannot be well trained, and that this is going to be massive wave attacks, such as was thrown against the Germans when they invaded Russia. But of course, this is not the Soviet Union. It is the capitalist oligarch, Mr. Putin. They write, for days there have been warnings that Russia is preparing, some say has already begun, a major offensive to regain ground in the east and south of the country, with tens of thousands of soldiers recruited in recent months. On his European tour, Zelensky urged his Western partners to provide him with more powerful weaponry to face this offensive. The president insisted that Ukrainians are defending the European way of life. Well, a bit of territory anyway. He's not far off. So that's it for my headlines. I had some comments. So this is going to be a short show. Once again, we're going to go take care of our friend, and maybe our friend is watching. Well, Jabra is watching. Hi, Jabra. We were amused and pleased to see Grandpa Biden whiplash the House Republicans. His State of the Union address seemed almost planned to bait them. And in any event, he clearly anticipated that they would act out, and it was hilarious to see him corner them into standing up and clapping for the idea of never touching Medicare and Social Security. Republicans like to have it both ways, cheering on their true sponsors, the plutocrat class, offering to hold the nation hostage in order to chip away at Social Security, and pledging secretly to eventually rescind it. By bringing the issue out into the open, Biden threatened to strip away their voter base. That's not how it's supposed to work. The benighted MAGA heads are supposed to chant imprecations against imagined socialism, while some arrangement to destroy the old age pension is camouflaged as loyal to the young or as a reinvigoration of the stock market. If they just came out and said, we want to screw all the workers by taking whatever remains of Social Security post-Reagan and give it to the stock market as a Christmas present, well, it wouldn't go down as well. So even Trump seemed to understand that warning not to take away the only reliable income for his bigot base. Biden doubled down on his There for the People theme, though not in any substantial way, whereas it was encouraging to see that he was thinking of moderately popular working class issues like excessive fees and snotty corporate attitudes. He did not address the rampaging rhinoceros in the room, mainly the wages are too low and the rents are too high. As a matter of fact, I don't recall hearing any high-level discussion of the national shame of billionaire investors snapping up homes and rental properties just to inflate property values and impose extreme rents. As a matter of fact, I've seen mendacious articles from time to time from the big financial papers trying to say that that's not true, that, house prices just happen to be moving on up for no apparent reason. And there's, look over there about the rents, but actually there is a very substantial impetus. There is a deliberate and powerful push from people who have the means to make it happen to keep the rents soaring into exorbitant ranges. Instead, we seem to be encouraged to think of it as a local problem. What's the city of Portland going to do about this houselessness? Well, at some level it needs to be, but really this is a matter of national policy, and that serves well to keep this national shame off the agenda, but it needs to be front and center. So while Bernie Sanders is alive and kicking and on the Senate Labor Committee, we need to raise some noise. I was speaking of Trump, speaking of dictators, it was painful to see the terror and misery of the Turkey-Syria quake victims as Erdogan stepped into the camera frame with the first words out of his mouth, complaints about his political opponents. You have a first-class psychopath, autark when that happens, and it was certainly familiar enough to U.S. citizens in the previous administration. So that situation, war, earthquakes, poverty, ain't we got fun?
Well, I gotta say,
that
that's you.
I twang.
Yeah, silence that thing. One thing I was gonna say is about Biden's speech. I was really surprised, and you say that he didn't get into the details of, calling out billionaire investors and real estate and driving up the rents. Okay, he didn't. Okay. But that was a more lefty Biden than I've ever seen. And
Gotta agree.
Actually, AOC has mentioned following the State of the Union that it was a far more left Biden than she had seen, and there's a little hope there. There's a little opening there, and I don't really care. I think if he's doing it for political expediency and to distinguish himself from the GOP, or if he genuinely has this sudden deep concern for the working class, why ever he's doing it, and that was some pretty impressive talk. He actually did call out the super rich and the tax structure that supports them and screws the rest of us. I never thought I'd hear that from Biden, so that was something. It's been an interesting week, hasn't it? Anything else from you?
Well, it reminded me of something I was thinking of. Biden, he looked sparky. This says something about the possibility that he will run for president again. And if he does, he needs to keep looking sparky, because Lord knows we all know that 80 and 90 something who can run rings around us and and climb to the top of the mountain and everything. They're out there, but it's a legitimate question, especially after Biden has wandered here and there. And I've noticed that he still has old man habits, like when he after he did his speech, he waded into the crowd there in the House of Representatives, and he reached out for someone's face. And of course, this is not a man's face that he reached out for. He does this to women. It's like he's reaching out, like, "Oh, honey," it's like, and she had to push his hands away.
Well, she outmaneuvered him in a way that made Teresa comment, "Wow, she's used to doing that."
Yeah, I mean,
and it's true.
All women are, and it's, come on, Joe. I mean, come on, Jill.
Yeah, somebody needs to
give that guy some manners. At least he didn't sniff her head. Oh, you smell really good.
That's true. At least he didn't do that. Okay, stop.
Oh, God. Oh, it's gross, isn't it?
Yeah, so stop, because I'm getting grossed out. Anyways, so is there anything else?
No. Okay. I was looking to see if that had to do with Tarot that you're looking down at. There's an app now that you can get, aside from an app that makes you look 20 years younger. There's an app you can get that makes it's for podcasters like us, or let's say we're vlogcasters or whatever the hell we are.
We do this live stream thing. I don't know.
It makes the eyes follow the screen. It's like, so I could be looking away at my script like I do because I'm a radio broadcaster. I was never used to, and we don't have a teleprompter anyway. Although I could hold my scripts better for sure. Maybe I need to work on that. But this app will make your eyeballs look like you're looking right at the viewer, which is good. I saw it demonstrated. It's like, it looks like you're really, professional and on it. And I thought, geez, I'm tempted to get that
Oh,
app, because, it's conditioning. It's hard for me to change my ways. I'm crusty too.
And who would we suggest for president? Asks Jabara. I don't know. It's like at this
Ron.
time, looking at 2 years ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, what I like to say, and it's not practical, of course, is Angela Davis is my president, but I'll settle for Bernie Sanders. But Bernie Sanders is old too, and so I have thought about that, and I think Ron Wyden would make a good president. Not a dynamite president, not a socialist president, but he'd make a good president.
We haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
I think his heart's in the right place.
We'll discuss this further.
Just slightly left to center.
Well, we'll discuss this further. AOC. Okay.
AOC make a good president. She'd be fantastic.
Really, so many. Shall we move?
But
on?
I mean, within the frame of people that the Democrat Party might actually select, if it was suggested, then it, maybe. Jeff Merkley is what I meant to say. I was saying Ron Wyden, and then I meant to say Jeff Merkley.
Okay, all right.
See, that's an old person thing.
Merkley,
I thought I was saying Merkley.
Merkley, I could get behind. Wyden, I was like, oh, honey, we need to talk after the camera goes off.
God, I hate it when
Merkley,
Merkley,
I could deal with
would
Merkley.
make a great president. No, I meant Jeff Merkley. Did I say squid? Hate that.
Well, shoot.
Bang.
Here we are we are in the waning moon phase of this moon cycle. It is time to pare down, get clarity, give thanks for that which you have received, and prepare for the next cycle, right? So that's a little bit into how we are doing moon phase wise and tarot wise. What?
Just John put up Jeff. I thought, okay, so that's his bumper sticker now. Deaf Jeff 24.
I would give you a Merkley. I like Merkley. There are a few. I mean, I really liked Castro. Actually, I thought that Julian Castro was
but Fidel's
really.
Dead. I know. You're talking about Julian.
I thought he was great last time, and I would like to see more of Julian. Okay, but Merkley. Okay, bringing it on back to the tarot. This is what we have for today. We have the High Priestess inversed. We have the Seven of Cups. And we have the Ace of Pentacles inversed. And so what does all this mean? Well, High Priestess tells us about really deepening the mysteries. It also, inversed, though, can mean a few different things. Sometimes we're not paying attention to our intuition in ways that we really should. And also, it can also, beyond not paying attention, it can really be not working towards, not just sort of dreaming without doing the work to back it up. And so getting through a little denial and being able to see yourself for how you're actually working with your energy, allowing your intuition to actually come to some prominence, honoring your intuition, and also taking concrete steps to bring into reality that which you want, that which you need. And we have the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is one of those cards well, let me just say, the Seven of Cups often refers to illusions, daydreams, fantasies. It can be getting sort of caught up in wishful thinking. Again, sort of echoing the High Priestess in verse, it can talk about kind of getting lost in your thoughts without doing any work to bring your dreams into fruition. It can also indicate that you're just sort of not really paying attention to things that you need to pay attention to. And again, your intuition is a way through this. Trying to figure out what's real from what's more wishful thinking, using your intuition and basing it in really being grounded first, and then follow your gut through the um, uh, sort of quilt of wishes that you are uh, walking through. See, I'm trying to come up with another phrase besides minefield, because I don't want to. So
I like quilt.
you're
better than
walking
minefield,
through a
sure.
quilt. I don't know how that works.
Quilt walking. It's a sport that they have down at the Coliseum once a year.
It is.
You have to be over 80.
So, anyways, intuition, intuition, intuition. For both of these cards, it's really about honoring that gut, honoring your voice, and being open also to doing work to bring what you need into this world. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles inversed. And the Ace of Pentacles inversed, again, harkens to that energy that can be a little challenging, a little challenged, not easy and free flowing, but more, again, having to work to find newness, find a fresh start, but also not to be wholly focused on the material, right? We can, it's a good time to, in fact, focus on the other aspects of your life and not be sort of, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but not be too, not give too much energy to the material. Making sure you're paying attention to your relationships, making sure you're paying attention to your sense of spirit, being grounded, staying grounded. It feels like it's pretty easy right now to sort of just spin out and not stay focused on yourself, your surroundings, being attached to the earth, and staying grounded and staying focused on what's relevant to your life. It's easy to spin out when you're not grounded. It's easy to just sort of throw energy every which direction and sort of dig yourself in deep. So the cards this week, really all three of them, have a lot to do with being grounded, being focused, and maintaining your connection to your sense of spirit, to your own mental health, to your own community and connections therein. And that is really where we want to focus during this waning moon cycle. And that's what I have tarot wise.
All right. Well, I wonder if we should. We got our loyal watchers here. I wonder if we should
Let's
ask
also
them for advice.
let's do this one thing here where we say, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to our channel, and please do. I'm not sure what she's. Oh,
Would this be a good background? So we got the old Che Guevara going on here. And of course, an altar that says, sorry about Bolivia, compañeros.
okay. Yeah,
Should
maybe.
I add that? I mean, because I was just thinking about
Honey, we
got
need
the
we
sun
need to
there.
redo this whole room, but that's a
Could
whole.
be- yeah.
I'm gonna sign out now.
I'm
Okay.
gonna sign out.
Yeah.
Let me just get
Okay. Thank you all so very much for joining us.
yeah, I just don't sign out.
Please do hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Let folks know that we do this every Friday morning at 9 o'clock. Hit the notification bell, because I always threaten to do this at other times too, and you'd like to know about that, wouldn't you? And thank you all so very, very much. Okay, can you see? Nice,
I
John.
like it a
Nice.
ton. You know what I miss is the outro. We used to have In the Hall of the Mountain King. And I found a nice version with the chorus in there going, ha, ha, yada, da, 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 yada, da, and the chorus going, ha.
It's true.
That was
But
great.
in the meantime, just go ahead and say the thing.
Yada, da, 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 da. And all the ships at sea. Bye. See y'all
See you
later.
next week.
Goodbye.